from Stupid Robot Fighting League, and as you can see, it's all a mess down here. My son, my beloved son, decided to empty the water out of the milk bottle, so everything just flopped to the ground. But anyway, my focus tonight is actually this. Obviously this is a temporary setup, and we need to be able to adjust the height of this bar here, the I don't know, the head bar rest or whatever you want to call it. The other thing that I'll be doing is putting a piece of this or slightly smaller pipe over that, so that this doesn't drag on that corner there, but I'll still have two screws so that you can pivot on that, so this just doesn't slide from side to side when you're trying to move your robot's head. But so this is my first attempt on this side. So it's almost there. The first attempt I did, this was the gap between here and here wasn't big enough to be able to slide that into, so I had to take some of it out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it one piece, and it'll come straight up here, and I don't know, up or something like that. But this has got to be a bit thicker, and I'll go a straight line from here to there to add strength to this here. And I think that's it. It needs some form, it needs some method of being able to lock this down. Obviously you can't, I don't want to screw into it, but what I might do is make some sort of flippy down thing, or something that screws with a bolt into here, which just stops it moving up. It doesn't need to be really strong, so it'll probably be something that screws into here with a bolt, and just hooks on top of here. So we'll see what I can wangle up. But anyway, for starters, I've got to make two more of those anyway. Oh, and I messed up the first time this hole here, but what I'll probably do is use these until they break, and I'll make another set. But anyway, I'll use them as a rough template, and we'll go from there. As usual, you can't see my face because this camera doesn't sync up audio and video, which is really sad, but well, here's my beard anyway, out of sync. Right, we've got that out of my system. Okay, so we are looking at the latest improvements. I think I've gone through these before, but these are the head bar support, what do you call them, brackets or something like that. Anyway, I fabricated them, so I'm feeling pretty brainy right now, but I reckon it's kind of weak here, so I actually zhuzhed them up a bit and went with this shape here. Yep, so that I think will be fine. The other thing that I've done, I've got some nice long bolts there. I could only go from 100, which only just made it, to 150, so I'll have to grind those off and clean them up. So I've talked about that. This is my crowning glory at the moment, which seems to work. So as you can see, there's two brackets there. They don't line up perfectly because I made them, but you've got this part here, which you can see, and that's this part here. But this one here actually acts as a clamp down on top of this bar to stop it moving sideways. So I've got to push them down and tighten them up with a crescent. I've only done them finger tight, but it'll probably give us as much grip as we'll ever need. And so once I've done, this is my first one, my prototype. So as you can see, there's like an oval, so the bolt can slide up and down. So this can slide down past here, so it sort of bites down on top of the bar. What I'm trying to avoid is sticking screws and holes in these bars to so that it won't make them weak. But other than that, I've clipped the robots back up. Oh, that's right. I've got the pipe up in here, and it works like a dream compared to the amount that it would grip when you slide back and forward. This is working perfectly. The Alcathene pipes seem to just grip onto it, but the PVC pipe, I think it is, works beautifully. Yeah, so that'll free everything up when you're pushing the robot backwards and forwards. So the last thing to do is put these on. What I might do is actually put some of this pipe on here, but not straight away, because I want to see if I can get away with it or not, just to save on on costs. So other than that, I think that's it. And once I've done these, then it's time to look at building, having one more fight and then building the robots out of junk. And I think I'm going to build one guy entirely out of tin cans, because I've got excuse me, tin cans. Sweet. Okay, so I've done the I don't know what you call them, clamps or something, just to keep this down. They are not, I don't want to tighten them up so much that these will pull through or break or anything like that. So their primary purpose is to just keep this clamp down and stop it from going up that way. I could pull it sideways and they wouldn't hold. So I mean, I could pull that down hard and tighten that up with a spanner, and that would probably hold it. But yeah, I don't want to start breaking things. So what I've done is I've put these blocks on the end. I've screwed that one in and I've glued that one on. I'll probably just end up screwing them all. It just means that if I have to replace this part here, I can slide it off one end, and that's a possibility, because that'll wear over time. So all I'm doing at the moment is I'm cutting up these clamp pieces for the other end, for Scott John's end. So it took a few goes at this. This is like the third version of it, I think. Is it? Or is this a first? I don't know. Anyway, I've been playing around with the design, and this seems to work fairly well. I think probably in the future I'll make them just a touch longer here, just to make sure I've grabbed the crossbar. But anyway, I'm going to start cutting these out. Woohoo! Okay, in poor light because it's night time. Just thought I might finish off with, obviously this is Scott John's side, and I've finished the hold down braces, or whatever you want to call them, that hold down the head bar, support bar, and this one on this side is a little too close to here, so it's grabbing a bit, so I'll just have to drop this one down to the next hole. And I have put on the these things here which stop the sideways movement when you're pivoting on this bar, and I've also put on the pipe so that this slides backwards and forwards easily. So once I drop that down, then that will give up, stop grabbing and slide quite nicely. The other thing I discovered is that with this bar down here, for the hand operating bars, it's just sort of, you can tuck these in so they're not lying on the ground. Other than that, I did the clips down here as well, and so the next fight we have, we'll test these, see which level is best for them. And other than that, yeah, we're pretty much due for a fight, maybe a tweak, and then we'll start building the actual robots out of junk. I'm thinking I'm going to build one out of cans. Anyway, we'll see you later.